Welcome to your 12 February 2025 Garrison Housing Town Hall. I'm Colonel Jason Cole, and I'm here with Mr. Mike Condis, who works for North Haven Communities here. And we have a few things to update the community on this evening. And the first thing we're going to talk about tonight is Army Tenant Satisfaction Survey. For those of you that have been here for a minute, know that about once a year, the Army sends out to every installation that has privatized housing, and they ask for your feedback. You know, how well is your privatized housing partner doing for you? Try and understand some of the needs and some of the wants. We got ours back about 2 months ago from last year's tenant satisfaction survey, which I believe we did in the March-April timeframe. And up on the slides, you'll see there's a couple of areas that were identified that were good, and some things that we're going to take a look at with our housing partner. And the Army does other things with this tenant satisfaction survey. They actually grade and rank the housing partners for the Army, and North Haven did really, really well, and they were the number 9 installation across the Army, and they were the number 1 installation that actually had deployable units at that installation. So good job, Mike and team. We appreciate your service. But some of the areas that were identified in last year's tenant satisfaction survey are on the screen. They're kind of not new to us, for those of us that have been here for a minute. You know, the first one and the largest one that was identified is some additional visitor parking and overall condition of the road. I've had a discussion, multiple discussion with North Haven, and it has been known for a minute that additional visitor parking is needed in some of our older neighborhoods. Have families in the lower 48. Alaska is on some people's bucket lists, and when their relatives get stationed at Fort Wainwright, we all know we tend to have those families and friends want to come up and visit us because it's a nice place to stay. And so they get access to the installation and they want to stay with you. But they come with additional cars. And so, you know, having a place that we can have that's close by to where you're living, that's additional parking areas that gets vehicles off the roads, and it's just a nice out-of-the-way place. So that is recognized by North Haven. They have it in an out-year development plan to take a look at. Another one is condition and quality of the appliances, right? They are on life cycle replacement plans with North Haven, and they do age them out, and they will replace them as needed. If they're still repairable and still within a certain amount of years, I believe, Mike, you know, they will try and repair them. But that was just a minor concern that our tenants gave back for North Haven. And then something, the last one was the overall condition of the home and quality of the components of the home. We've got varying ages of our homes here at Fort Wainwright. North Haven does have an out-year development plan to come in and remodel some of the homes as they receive additional funding over the next few years. And they, I believe, are going to be pitching in the next month or two a plan for next year for some home improvements that will get blessed off by the Army. We'll send it up the chain to the Army and say, hey, this is what we want to do. And then we'll give them the okay to do it. Some of the great things that our tenants loved from the tenant satisfaction was the maintenance team's responsiveness and courtesy. You know, everybody, that is key, because you have someone coming into your home to repair something that is not working for your family. So thank you for that. You know, the responsiveness of the team, and then being respectful when they're coming into someone's home. Even though you own the home, you know, we're leasing it from you. Thank you for encouraging your employees to be respectful and courteous to our service members. They love the leasing office personnel in the leasing process. I remember when I came here, it was great that I could email them, fill out a form before I got here and send it to the leasing office. And they're like, hey, we got it. And we started paperwork before we even showed up. So they had a great idea. I think it's a great process of what we were looking for. They kind of sent some floor plans back, got a tentative, like, yep, that's what we kind of like. And they had a great idea when we showed up. Hey, this is the neighborhood that you kind of agreed to is where they're at. When a house is available, we'll let you know and you can come look at it. So I think it's great that they are being proactive for it, and they can reach out once you know that you're on orders to Fort Wainwright. So thank you for that. And then the management office treatment of residents. We're in the community center right here for North Haven, and the main offices are attached to the community center. And they welcome you into the community center whenever the doors are unlocked. It's your community center to use. I think it's great that they have co-located their offices with the space that our community members can use, because it opens an invitation for you to interact with the management team and the management office while you're here enjoying this nice space, whether you're coming to watch a movie, kids on the playground, or you just want to stop in and have breakfast or lunch here at the nice, around the fire pit that they've got going. So thank you for that, North Haven. It is an annual survey that we sent out. We received word today from Army on when our next tenant satisfaction survey is going to open up. And it's going to open up March 3rd. And it will be open for 60 days this year. And so it's going to run from March 3rd to May 1st. You'll be receiving emails and flyers from us on the Army side through social media. North Haven will send messages out asking you to participate in the survey. And just so you know, it is an Army survey. We don't see the responses. It goes to the Army. They collate the results. They tabulate it all, and they just send us the results after all the data analysts and social scientists of the world, or whoever takes a look at it, processes the results and then let us know how well we're doing. A new thing that is coming up this year, first in its time, is what the Army is calling a third-party inspection. So this past year, Congress mandated to the DoD that 100% of family housing will be inspected by a third party, meaning someone that's not working for the Army and someone that's not working by our privatized housing partner. So the Army has contracted with the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors to go to their installations and walk through 100% of every home on Fort Wainwright, looking for life, health, and safety issues. All right. We believe that they will be here at Fort Wainwright 11th to the 22nd of August. I believe Fort Cavazos has them going through right now, or they just finished those third-party inspections. But we anticipate seeing them in an August timeframe. 100% of the homes will be looked at by third-party inspectors. Nothing we can do about it. Nothing North Haven can do about it. Congress has told them you will look inside every home. So I just want to let the community know that there will be a time someone that is not us will be in your house looking for something for a report for Congress. I don't know what's going to be in it, but we'll see, and I'm sure we'll get the results from that inspection. As always, you can submit questions and comments on great things North Haven's doing, great things your Garrison Housing Office is doing through our interactive customer experience, or if you want to take a step above because you want to raise it another issue higher, DoD has created a housing feedback system called the DoD Housing Feedback System, DHFS. It enables privatized housing for active duty service members to provide feedback to the DoD about any issues that you have or that you think you have with your housing here at Fort Wainwright. So that's always available for you, and the information is up on the screen. And if you feel like you need to do that, DoD has made it available for you. And now just some focus areas that we have, because we are still in the midwinter season here at Fort Wainwright. Snow removal after a snow season, at your house, your driveway, and your walkway, and as well as your back entrance to your home, is your responsibility. North Haven will take care of the roads, but your driveway and your walkway and then access to your back door is your responsibility. We ask you to maintain this because if for any reason Department of Emergency Services needs to respond to your home because you pick up the phone and dial 911, they need access to come into your home to respond to an emergency that you may have called them for. Window maintenance. Please make sure your windows are closed. It does get warmer a little bit. You're going to feel the need that you want to open it up, but the temperature changes really quickly. And when you open up some of the windows where the temperature changes, when you go to close them again, sometimes those frames expand and contract, and it may be too hard for you to get that window closed. So please make sure that you are checking your windows on your homes and keep them closed this winter until breakup season, at least. Mike, is that good enough, breakup season? Can I tell them breakup season?
You can say breakup.
And if you've been here for a minute, you know what breakup is. For those of you new, you might call it spring. We call it breakup because that's when the ice starts breaking up. Once you see the ice start breaking up, that's breakup season. Then you can maybe consider opening those windows again. Pet waste removal does remain a responsibility if you have a pet for your backyard. We do ask you to pick up. I can't tell you how often they want you to pick up, but we do ask you to not go all winter before you go out there and you pick up your pet waste. If you don't, and then once we get into breakup season, it kind of melts off and turns into slush, and then once it rains and it starts actually getting into the ground, it gets into our groundwater and it can contaminate our water. So we do ask you to pick up after your pets. And then outdoor overnight parking. If you can, please consider not parking your cars along the roads. That's just me asking for DES. There have been a couple of times in my neighborhood, there have been cars parked on both sides of the road because they've got visitors overnight. And it has been difficult for normal cars to get through and squeeze by them. If there is an emergency in a house that DES does need to respond to, that's beyond where this canalization is happening because you're parking cars on the roads. Those cars can get towed because DES will do what they need to do to respond to an emergency. And then for those of that are new to the cold up here at Fairbanks, when you're plugging in your cars at night, help me out with my utility bill. Maybe consider putting your vehicle plug-in on a timer. It doesn't need to be on all night. A few hours before you need it, and the next day, if you can find a timer, you can set that on. That would be excellent. 4 hours or so before you think you need to go to get to work is probably about the right time for you to start your winterization for your vehicle. Next slide here is just a reminder of our road conditions. I believe we did upgrade our road condition this week from red to amber. And really what we're showing here on our road condition matrix is some of the conditions that we see on our roads or weather related that may be hazardous for those of you as you're out on the road and driving. And really all it does is it gives you an advisory of things that you can do because the roads may be a little bit more slippery. There might be ice fog in the air, so it's hard to see. We have recommendations to decrease your speed, slow down a little bit, and increase the distance it takes when you start to slow down for a red light or a stop sign, right? So our road condition matrix is there to inform you on how we see the roads by our experts, which is basically our Department of Emergency Services, who are on the road 24/7 no matter what the weather, is kind of their advice to you. Hey, if you do have to come in and go somewhere, if the roads are red, hey, drive a little bit slower. Start braking a little bit sooner before you get to somewhere so that we can prevent some accidents on the road. And so with that, my comments for information to y'all are done, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Mike Condis from North Haven Communities. Mike, take it away.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everybody. Some new news here that will have a real minimal impact on all of you, and that is in July of 2024, Lend-Lease, which was Australian-owned, announced that it was going to sell its military housing and lodging business here in the U.S. as a global strategy. The sale included the entirety of all the Lend-Lease military housing and lodging projects, Army and Air Force projects across the portfolio. As the new company is now Sentinel, it's no longer Lend-Lease, and the mission is will continue to build upon its 25-year legacy of serving military families. The company is now U.S. based, and headquarters hasn't really changed. It's still in Nashville, Tennessee, and we still manage over 32,000 homes and 12,000 hotel rooms across the nation, and 50 military installations. The mission continues, and that is to create outstanding, caring communities where people live, work, and thrive. So no real changes there. And our commitment to the communities we serve has never been stronger. It's really a good thing being an 18-year employee of the company. It's been a seamless transition. A lot of the key management people are still in place. The teams are still in place, so very minimal impact there.
Yeah, I haven't seen one yet.
Yeah,
yep.
It's only going to get better. So next slide. Win Residential is our partners in excellence. Sentinel is the owner and developer of our communities, and will continue to work hand in hand with our expert operational partners to maintain a consistent, outstanding resident experience. And Win Residential Military Housing Services is a joint venture of Sentinel and Win companies, which brings its award-winning property management expertise to the housing portfolio. So no changes there. It was the same structure under Lend-Lease. So again, you won't see any changes that will impact anybody. Some great events that have occurred and we still have planned this month. On February 7th, we had the Daddy-Daughter Dance. I believe that was the second one that we've done, and it was a great turnout and a great event, and the dads and their daughters really enjoy that. So if you attended, we hope you keep attending. We have some great photos of the event, and there's great food, and Ashley, our community services manager, did a great job setting that all up. Super Bowl Sunday, did your team win, sir?
Yes, my team did win.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
Mine wasn't actually in the Super Bowl, but my team that I was rooting for did win. But February 9th, we had a Super Bowl Sunday celebration, so a lot of food and festivities here in the community center. And if you haven't checked out our community center, you really need to come see it. It's one of the nicest facilities in Fairbanks, I think. And an upcoming event, I believe it's this Friday. Yeah. We have the basket for My Valentine on our North Haven Facebook, where residents can share photos and heartwarming stories telling us why their significant others should win a basket. And the baskets are all over the office. They've done a great job setting them up. A lot of caring and a lot of thought went into assembling the baskets.
Let's get to the Mush Madness, Mike. Well, that's what people care about.
There.
Bring in the dogs.
Yeah, if you haven't attended Mush Madness, this is a great event. Every year, we've been doing it since the beginning of the project. But in March 15th from 11 to 2 o'clock here at the Community Center, we'll have Mush Madness. Squid Acres is one of the local kennels here in Alaska. They're Iditarod racers, and they race the Yukon Quest as well. They'll be here with their dog teams, and everybody that's in attendance gets a free dog sled ride. And if you've never experienced that, it's really cool. But they'll have all kinds of cool stuff here in the community center. I'm sure coffee and hot chocolate and cookies and all that fun stuff.
Are we limiting the amount of people, or is it just time, right? Last year it was time.
Everybody that's here.
Anytime anyone brings sled dogs to the installation, it's overwhelming support for community and kids to come. When the Garrison does it through MWR, it sells out because we kind of limit the amount of people that can do sled rides. When North Haven does it, it's time. Everyone can show up for it.
Yes.
Everybody gets a chance to ride on a sled with the sled dogs, and it is a great opportunity. If you missed the last one that we did with MWR because you didn't pick up the phone fast enough within the first 5 minutes of us posting it and it sold out, make it over here to North Haven Communities, for our Mush Madness. So, sorry about that. Sorry to hijack that, Mike.
No, it's a great event. I know you'll be the first in line.
Absolutely.
You'll be here early. But it is a great event. March, if you're new to Alaska, March, we're getting more sunlight. It gets warmer. We actually, a few of us bring our snow machines out here. We cut a really cool trail back here around the back of the community center. So it's a nice ride.
It is.
It's a nice ride. So just kind of repeating some of the things you talked about.
If you want to.
Is staying on top of the pet feeds is a very important part of living in Alaska. It's best to pick it up almost immediately. It's cold, and it's a lot easier. When it does melt during breakup, it does create an environmental hazard for the community as all the water runs off towards the Chena River, and we want to keep that waterway clean. So please stay on top of that. Follow the tenant guide when it comes to parking trailers, ATVs, and campers. If you're not clear on that, please come to the community office, and representatives, your resident service coordinators, community manager, they can brief you on all the rules and regulations when it comes to that. This is a very important one. Do not place grills, smokers, fire pits under covered porches or within 15 feet of the home or in your garage if you have one. We have experienced several fires on the installation since I've been here since 2009. Some of these fires burned the home completely to the ground. And here in Alaska, you'll notice that it gets cold in the winter, so you probably do a little bit more cooking in your home than you do in other places in the country. And most of these fires are caused by unattended cooking. It's walking away from the stove and having grease overflow onto the burner and igniting a fire. And but we've also had some from grills and smokers that were left close to the siding on the patios or around the front of the garage. And again, some of those fires burned the house to the ground. So your safety is of the utmost importance, and we also want to protect the asset. So please follow these rules very closely. If you have any questions, please come to the community office. And please remember that your home is equipped with fire extinguishers, and so you want to make sure you know how to use those. Also, for people that like to grill with charcoal or wood smokers or barbecue grills, do not put the contents in a trash can. Some of those fires were caused due to hot coals or burning embers placed in plastic trash cans that were up against the home, and they caught on fire and burned the home down. Preventative maintenance inspections are being conducted currently, so you will have North Haven maintenance personnel come out to your home. They check the homes, they'll check the batteries in your smoke detectors, and basically walk through the home to make sure, again, there's no life, health, or safety issues or potential issues that could damage your home. And then also during wintertime especially, and in summertime, make sure you give your community center notice when you're going to be out of town for a week or more, and your 30-day notice if you are PCSing. That's really important, especially during the winter months. We can get temperatures that dip down to 40, 50 below. Pipes can freeze and things like that. Heat can go out. If we know you're out of town, we can keep an eye on your home for you and make sure that the heat is on and there's no issues. Snow removal. I'd like to thank, not only your road crew with DPW, but our Mainscape team as well for all that they do to remove snow from the road, so when we wake up in the morning, we can get to our work and our schools and wherever we may be going safely. These people leave their families at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning to get out here to remove the snow. So again, you can travel safely in the morning. Along with that comes a little bit of machinery noise or heavy equipment noise at night or in the morning hours. So we appreciate your patience with that. There's no silent machinery that we've found yet to remove snow. So just please give those people some grace. If you hear them out there working at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, it's not a lot of fun. It's pretty uncomfortable. I'm sure they'd like to be home with their families too, but they're out there doing a job.
Not the guys I talk to. They love it.
Yeah,
Apparently they got some new machinery this year, and they're loving the new
like
machinery.
To play with it. Yeah, so the one thing we try to do is we work very closely with the garrison when it comes to forecasted storms, so we can give notifications of, it might be the office closing or an early out so our employees can get home safely. But the other thing too is we want to make sure the vehicles are out of the road so that we can plow efficiently. When vehicles are left in the road, it's very hard. Some of our streets are very narrow, and we can't get around them safely and efficiently. So please make sure that you're watching for those notifications, and so we can keep the vehicles off the streets. Again, the clearing usually begins right after the heavy point of the storm and continues as needed. Snow will be burned and piled and then removed with loaders and dump trucks. And along with your vehicles, please make sure your trash cans too are removed and put back on trash days so we're not running over the trash cans. Excuse me. Residents are responsible for removing snow in the driveways, sidewalks, and again, it's not only for emergency services, but anybody that's coming to your home. We want to make sure you have safe access. We have maintenance personnel coming out to your home as well. So we just want to make sure there's safe access. If you don't remove it when it first happens, when temperatures warm up, it turns to ice, and it becomes a lot more difficult to remove and a lot more slippery. So it's best when it's just powdery snow. Some folks have their own plows or their own contractors. And if you have that, push it into the yard, but please do not push it into the street. And again, please be patient and safe when driving around some of the heavy equipment that's out there operating. We try to do it as safely as possible. We have spotters and things of that nature, but your safety is our utmost concern. And so you want to be careful when you're driving around those vehicles. Make sure they can see you. Some winter safety tips. Watch for wildlife. If you haven't seen moose here on Fort Wainwright, it's just a matter of when you do.
I was going to say, open your eyes, get outside your house.
Yeah, get outside.
See some moose.
There's a lot of moose around here, but moose actually injure more people in the state of Alaska than any other animal. So if you see them, especially a mama with the calves, you want to have keep a safe distance. Take pictures from a distance. They might look big and clumsy and slow, but they're everything but that. They're very fast, they're very big, and they're very dangerous, especially when they go to protect their young. So just be careful. And also, there's some really cool snow piles that are left behind from the snow plows. When we were kids, I'm sure we probably did some of this.
We did.
We got away with it, but we like to dig, or kids like to dig holes in these snow piles.
Making snow forts.
And snow forts, snow caves. But we highly discourage that. And the reason being is we do remove some of those piles. And if those kids are in those piles and the machine operators do not see them, it could be really bad. So please educate your children not to dig snow forts inside these snow piles. And then again, even pedestrian traffic around the snow areas, some of these piles can get pretty high. And when you're taking turns onto the streets and onto the roads, it's really hard to see around them. So you want to make sure you're going slow and watching out for these kids, especially the ones walking to the schools. Again, cooking safety. Do not leave the stove when you have food cooking. Make sure you're maintaining the cleanliness of your stove. Grease buildup can do just that. It'll build up around the burners or inside the stove, and that grease can ignite and cause a kitchen fire. And so make sure you're doing that. The burners and the strip pans and all that stuff's removable and cleanable. If you have questions, ask our maintenance team, and they can help guide you on how to do that. The fire extinguishers are located in the kitchen area. They're throughout the home in several different locations. When you move into your home, the RSC should be pointing those out to you and where those are located. And then thoroughly thaw items before cooking them in grease. If you've never seen a video of a frozen
turkey,
chicken, anything that's dropped into grease, it will explode and throw grease everywhere, and the grease will be on fire. So if you're like me and you like to deep fry those types of things, one, you'll learn very quickly, well, first of all, you want to do it outside. Number two, when you're trying to get your grease to 400 degrees, when it's 30 below outside, it's a real challenge. And once you put that turkey in there, it becomes more of a challenge. So again, keep any type of grease outside the home if you're deep frying, away from the home. And then have tight-fitting lids available for each pot. And the last thing you ever want to do is throw water on a grease fire. If you've never seen what that can do, the fire will rage about 100 times larger than it was originally. Our resident advisory board, we've got a great team of residents that are participating in this. Their photos and names are listed right here, and some of them are here tonight. So all the neighborhoods have, or not all of the neighborhoods have a RAB member right now. We're still looking for one for Chena Bend, Tanana Trails, Gersh Heights, and Southern Cross. Here's some directions on how to apply. If you'd like to become a RAB member, go ahead and you see the website there where you can go ahead and apply. And we really encourage our residents to get involved in this. It's a great program, and we'd love to see each neighborhood have a representative. The things that we're working on right now are school bus stops, bigger address numbers on certain homes, some of the older legacy homes, playgrounds that need some maintenance, drains and sidewalks that need to be addressed, some HAP issues, plans for next breakup season, and the parking concerns. So it's really great when we have representatives from each neighborhood bringing those concerns to these meetings. It's really good feedback. And then here at North Haven Communities, we do have some available positions opened up right now. They're all listed right there. We're looking for a director of facilities, a leasing consultant, a leasing manager, a community services manager, resident services coordinator, a general maintenance technician, and a resident services coordinator at Fort Greeley. So if you or anybody you know are interested, please apply right there. The website's right there.
All right.
It's a great place to work. And we have all the points of contact listed here. If you have any questions or concerns, all the representatives for each entity is listed here. That's, sir.
All right.
That's it.
Well, this is where we open it up to any attendees. You know, the slide says what's on your mind. So any questions from the attendees tonight? No. Well, for those of you, if you're watching it online, this previously recorded Garrison Town Hall, you know, be sure you reach out to us on ICE. Reach out to North Haven Communities through their app, or swing by the community office and ask us your questions. So with that being said, Mike, I think we're going to close it out. So thank you for attending tonight, and thank you for watching. And we'll see you at our next town hall in a few months. Have a good night.